Hi, I'm Christiane King. I'm a fashion designer and illustrator, and today I'll be teaching you how to draw a front-facing fashion illustration. Now, they're pretty easy. All you have to understand are proportions, balance, and just practice. That's it. Now, before we get started, I did want to point out that I do draw using my iPad. It's just my preferred method of drawing. You'll be completely fine using a traditional pencil and paper. All right, let's get started.
Now remember, a standard figure is 7 to 8 heads tall, while a fashion illustration is 10 heads tall. Here, define the height of your fashion illustration. The top is the head, bottom is the feet. Then draw a middle line, which represents basically her spine, so we know that she'll be standing up straight. Divide up in 5 equal parts and number them from 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Then divide further each of these sections in halves. All these are going to be guidelines for specific positions of the body, which we'll discuss a little later. So again, number them 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. So now let's call out some of those points. The top is the head. Then number 2 is the chest. Number 3 will be the waist. Number 4 is the hips. Number 6 is where the knees will land. Number 9 is where our ankles will land. And 10 will be the bottom of our feet. Next, we're going to start drawing the head, which will be between point 0 and 1. I'm just reducing my transparency. And what you do is draw your rectangle, which will define the height of the head, and the head, which should be a nice oval shape. Now, slightly above the 1.5 mark, you'll have the shoulders, and they're about 1.5 length of the head. Then you go on to the waist at number 3, and the waist is about 1 length of the head in width. Then your hips, which is about 1.25 length of the head. What we're going to do now is connect these points, shoulder to waist, waist to hip. Then we go on to connecting the hip down to the knee, which is at number 6. Draw a line down to the knee, tapering in a little. And next, we're going to kind of create this cylindrical shape so you can kind of get that volume already starting. Do the same at the knee. Now we have this bone that tends to push our muscle out a little bit, like around that area. So we would curve that line out and down to the ankle, and then bring the other line down to the other side of the ankle. So our foot will be kind of a pyramid shape with a slight V at the bottom to indicate where the toes will go. And there you go. Next, we're going to start with the arms. So start with a cylindrical shape down to 3, starting at 2. So that's where our elbow is. And then we're going to create a forearm down to 4. And that should taper down because our wrist is smaller. Next, we'll draw the hand, which will be a bunch of shapes in cylindrical pyramid shapes. And I'll show you a close-up soon. All right, let's fill in the neck, which will be another cylindrical shape from the head to the shoulder. And I want to indicate where the eyes will go, right there. And then we're going to add some connecting points, which is pretty much our joints. And this is how we are able to move. All right, let me zoom in and show you again that side a little closer up into the arm. So create your cylinder from point 2 to point 3, which is where the waist is. That's where your elbow goes. And again, start there from the elbow down to the hip line. That's where your wrist placement is. And then you work on your hands. So you can just follow the shape. So you have a longer line there, curves in to allow for the thumb. And then we're going to have a few fingers dangling down right there. Okay, now we're going to fill in the other leg. Again, that is from the hip line to number 6. That's where the knees go. And you have that line tapering down, so that cylinder kind of tapers down to the knee. And then we're going to add our connecting joint. Again, that bone makes our muscle go out a little, and that's why we have that point on the side of the calf down to the ankle. And again, you draw your other leg. Do not worry if things don't look perfectly symmetrical. As you can see, they don't look symmetrical on mine. As we progress, we stand back, we look over things, and we make adjustments as needed. This is not a perfect science. Okay, so this is what we're looking like. I just took out the guidelines and reduced the transparency here so you could see better. So now we are filling in our artwork, feeling more confident because we have our proportions and our guidelines. Here we're smoothing out the shoulders because no one's shoulders are a straight line. We're smoothing out the lines, basic kind of tracing over the work we've done because now we have a structure. We know we're good. We have our proportions. We know she's balanced. She's standing straight. So for the breast, you could either do 2 circles kind of centered at number 2, or you could do these little curved lines like I did. That's what I tend to prefer. All right, so I tend to work a lot on my fingers. So you see me mess with them a lot. I can already see that they're not aligned, but we'll work on that a little later. And then define the waist. This is where our eyes will go when we get to drawing faces. Our collarbone. And now we can work on our lower portion. Let's fix that hand a little bit. It's looking a little longer than the other. All right, so smooth lines down to the knee, and then we follow our lines down to the feet. At that point, we're grooving. It's easy, right? We have our guidelines. Here we go. And again, this is a very basic front-facing fashion illustration. As we progress and as you develop your own style, we are going to really play with what our legs are doing, our arms are doing, and make it our own, right? She can be a little fuller, a little more muscular, whatever we like. We're adding some ears and remove that center line so we're looking a little more human. Actually, no, she's not quite human yet. Let's add our collarbone. And then I'm going to smooth out the arms right there. There you go. Now she looks better. And we can clean up the lines that we're not happy with. And if you're working with a pencil, same goes for you. Just erase whatever you're not happy with. But overall, you should have a pretty balanced fashion figure. So now you can add your panty line. If you like what you see, if you're already learning something, please subscribe to my channel. This would really help a lot, and it will encourage me to create more exciting content for you. And let me know in the comments, what are you interested in learning about? Is it more poses? Is it clothing, accessory, hair? Let me know what you would want me to create, and I would love to help with that. And in here, we're gonna add just a little resemblance of a big toe. We're not quite anatomically correct on everything, but that's the beauty of fashion illustration. You can kind of bend the rules a bit. Now, I want you to step back. I want you to zoom out. Just take a look and see if there's anything you're missing, anything that looks off. So here I can tell my arms, my hands are not the same length. So I'm gonna just make a quick little adjustment so that we're visually slightly better. And that's how you draw a 10-head front-facing fashion illustration.